Hi everyone, this is Miss P, and today we're going to practice multiplying mixed numbers.
Let's practice multiplying mixed numbers using the example of 3 1/5 times 2 3/4. Whenever you're multiplying mixed numbers, you should take the mixed numbers and convert them to improper fractions, or fractions greater than 1. And then once you have improper fractions, you can simply multiply across the numerators and multiply across the denominators. Let's try that with this problem. Starting with the fraction of 3 1/5, in order to convert it to an improper fraction, we should take the denominator of 5 and move around the number here. First, multiply it by 3. 5 times 3 equals 15. And then add the numerator. So 15 plus 1 equals 16. 3 1/5 converts to 16. Carry down that denominator, fifths, 16 fifths. Carry down the multiplication sign. And now let's move on to the second mixed number, 2 3/4. To convert this to an improper fraction, we'll start with the denominator of 4, and we'll start by multiplying that by 2. 4 times 2 equals 8, and then adding on the numerator of 3. 8 plus 3 is 11. So bring that down as 11, carry the denominator down fourths. 2 3/4 is equivalent to 11 fourths. Now we've rewritten our problem, 3 1/5 times 2 3/4, as 16 fifths times 11 fourths. It's the same value. The numbers are worth the same. They're just written as improper fractions. Now we can multiply across the numerator and multiply across the denominator. Let's start with the numerators. 16 times 11. So these are a little bit bigger numbers, but I can think about it this way. I know that 16 times 10 is 160, and then 16 times 11 is going to be one more group of 16 bigger than that. So 160 plus 16 is 176. My numerator and my answer is going to be 176. Great. Now I can multiply across my denominators. 5 times 4 equals 20. My answer is 176 twentieths. One thing you should notice right away is that this is, of course, an improper fraction, or a fraction greater than 1, where the numerator is greater than the denominator. So one of the things we're definitely going to want to do with this problem is simplify it into a mixed number or whole number. Let's do that first, and then we can look for common factors to potentially simplify it further. In order to simplify this fraction into a mixed number or a whole number, we should take our numerator of 176, and we should divide it by the denominator of 20. Well, 20 is a round number here, so I can probably do this in my head, even though the numbers are a little bit bigger. If I think about 20 as two groups of 10, I can apply that to this division problem by asking myself, how many groups of 20 fit into 176? Well, let's start with the tens place. How many groups of 2 fit into 17? That doesn't divide perfectly, but I do know that 2 times 9 equals 18, and so 9 will be too big of a number because we don't have 18 tens here. We don't have quite that many. But I also know that 2 times 8 equals 16. So 2 tens times 8 would be 16 tens, or 160. So that does seem like the closest whole number that fits in there. So I'm going to say that there are 8 wholes in this improper fraction. And because I know that 20 times 8 equals 160, that means that 160 twentieths is equal to 8 wholes. So I'm going to take away 160 twentieths from this fraction of 176 twentieths to give me the fraction part of the mixed number. So 176 minus 160 gives me 16 left over, and I'll carry over my denominator of 20. So I have simplified 176 twentieths to equal 8 and 16 twentieths. Next, we have to see if we can simplify this fraction further, and we can. Using the number 8 and 16/20, we should look at the numerator of 16 and the denominator of 20 and determine if they share any common factors. And they do. They share the common factors of 2 and 4. So what we're going to do is use the greatest common factor of 4, and we're going to simplify the fraction part of the mixed number by dividing the numerator by 4 and dividing the denominator by 4. So the numerator of 16 divided by 4 equals 4, and the denominator of 20 divided by 4 equals 5. And so we know that 8 and 16/20 can be simplified to be 8 and 4/5. Now that we have this answer, we can apply it back to our original problem and determine that 3 and 1/5 times 2 and 3/4 equals 8 and 4/5. Remember, when you're multiplying mixed numbers, you should take the mixed numbers, convert them to improper fractions, multiply across like you would with any other fraction, and then simplify the number. Let me know if you have any questions below.